All right, for this episode of our outdoor adventures, we're going to be focusing on basics of tying knots with rope. Now, Miss Anna's not an expert, and there's lots of different rope tying skills out there, but I figure we're going to start a little with the basics for today's purposes and the use that you may or may not need this in your daily life, or going camping, or maybe even outdoor survival. So, let's get started. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using 2 pieces of smaller rope. These are really not significantly large pieces of rope. If you're, using this in a camping or outdoor setting, you're going to want as much continuous, unended, uncompromised or uncut rope as possible. Today's pieces are 2 5-foot pieces for practicing today. They could be even shorter. Use what you've got on hand. So, today we're going to be doing a couple of basics. I have got the equivalent of a tree here, if you couldn't tell, and we're going to be talking about some just basic knot tying techniques. So this is going to be our working strand that we're working with. Our rainbow is going to be strand 1. For this first knot, we're just working with 1 piece of paracord rope today, but you can use other types of rope as well. So simply what I'm doing is I would tie this if I were in an outdoor setting or whatever else. I may use this around a tree or, a limb or something like that. This particular next knot that we will be making may be helpful for tying off, for instance, a tent or a tarp, tying something off to make just a straight line tie or something like that. Very basic. So simply, I'm just going to take one end, pull it around the tree. We call this a hitch knot when it is simply a really basic tie. This first one is. So you're going to create a loop, like a little infinity sign, and pull your end through. Nice and simple. This is one of the basic knots you learned from the start when you were younger, and tie it like that. Okay? Really simple. This is called the double hitch knot. So we're going to do the same thing. Infinity sign, pull through, and tie like that. This is one of the most basics of the knots. Does a pretty decent job. It does have the capability of, budging a little bit. So if you just did a quick knot or one that does not need, a lot of strength to it, each of our knots and the purpose of the knots will be determined by what you're wanting to accomplish. So if I just need something quick and easy, this may be a great starter knot. A way to enhance this knot. We never want, ideally, knots that are going to tighten really hard where we can't get them untied. That makes paracord a really great type of rope because it has the flexibility to actually allow us to untie these. So that was the double hitch knot. I'm going to show you a very similar alternative to that same one. That's going to be a quick release or knot of the double hitch knot. So once again, going around our tree here, we're creating a simple infinity sign, taking our loop end through and tying it, just pulling it tight, nothing fancy, okay? Same thing, infinity sign, pulling through, end through. But so I'm literally just pinching through my loop to grab this end. Instead of just pulling the end though, I'm going to literally pinch that end in the middle, the excess part in the middle, and pull through like this, okay? So all we did here was we created a similar knot, similar to that last one, but I have a quick and easy way of releasing that knot and not ruining the end of my rope or anything like that. So, really great, easy way. Once again, we'll do it nice, quick, and easy. We did a infinity sign, came through the loop, pulled it tight. With our second infinity sign, instead of simply just pulling that end all the way through, we grabbed with our fingers halfway of that loose end and simply just pulled that loop and tightened, pulling on the loop and the excess end with a quick release type of knot. So that's the double hitch with a break type of knot. So nice and easy, right? Great one to use at home. Next, we're going to talk about a quick release knot. All right, with the quick release knot, we're going to take the longest end, we're going to loop it around, pull it where your thumb is at, holding at both loops, and pull from here. Okay? Now, this is the loop. For instance, if this were placed on a tree, this is the loop that we're going to be working with. This is the chain quick release. So we can use the quick release, which would, if we just pulled this in, would pull completely out, quick and easy. A lot of folks in the livestock industry use this with animals, horses, cows, etc. Because in case of emergency, or they got kind of tied up, or the animal got scared, spooked, and need a quick release, then we can just pull the quick release and be completely out of it. With the quick release knot on our tree here, we're going to use this end here that budges, it moves, as you can see. We're going to use that to create a chain. I'm going to use this simple loop here to pinch the excess through, and pulling from here, holding onto my string, just simply pulled it through. We'll do this several times so you can see it. I'm going to literally take my loop, I place my fingers inside the loop, pull the excess string, pulling on that end, and pull the loop through. This is one of my favorites of the knots because you can create a long chain, and you can do this rather quickly. And the end, if you have a lot of these joint chains together, can make a really strong knot that can be used for a variety of different things. If you really need something that's going to be really strong or have a towing or holding capacity. And just like that, the quick release knot releases very, very fast. Next, we're going to be doing what I call a double knot. And this is going to consist of actually combining two different ropes together. So what we're going to do with this first side is we are simply going to do that very first of the double hitch knots with the break, with the loop, just simply to secure my rope to my tree here, okay? But that's not even what our focus is. Our focus is actually going to be on these two ends. So I'm going to refer to my blue rope as rope number 1 and my rainbow rope as rope number 2. And this is what we're going to be working with today for this double knot tie. So first and foremost, taking this blue rope here and my rainbow rope, I'm going to take my blue end and my rainbow end and match them up. Nice and easy, right? However, with my working rope, my rainbow rope, my second that's not tied to the object, I'm going to loop, let's say about 4 inches worth of rope, okay? So simply, I still have my 2 ends, and I have just looped my rainbow end here, okay? And hold it just like that. I'm going to go, if this is the 2 ends and the working end, I'm going to pinch the loop about 1 inch down and hold it just like that for this next portion. Then you're going to take your rainbow, you're working your opposite of your second rope, okay? So your second rope, you're going to go around. So I'm literally just going over and around all the 2 standing strings, and over and around. So I did that twice, okay? I did that twice. I'm going to tuck my end through. See, I've got this loop, going to tuck it through and pull tight. And I have 1 knot here. Awesome, great. This is going to be really exciting once we can combine both of these ropes together. The really nice part is this first knot that we did is very useful. It's a sliding knot, so you may find instances where you want your rope to be able to slide. It does that very well. We're going to combine this to make it a double knot. So we're actually going to adjust our rope further down. So in order to do this double knot, we're going to be working with our first, which is the blue side, and our second rope, which is the rainbow side, and we're going to be making a loop this time with our first rope, our blue rope, okay? So connecting both our first and our second ropes at the ends, we're going to use our second rope and loop it around at about 4 inches worth so that we have both ends and the first rope hanging down. We're going to pinch at approximately 1 inch down. We're going to take first rope end, my blue end. I'm going to go over and around once, over and around twice, take my loop and pull through here like so, pulling tight. Once I've got that, you see just a big old loop like that. But then the sliding mechanism I'm going to use to pull my second of my 2 strings, my rainbow end, and I'm going to pull that all the way through. And you actually have a double knot with twice the strength. So this is a really useful knot when you have 2 pieces of rope that potentially aren't as long as you need them to be, but you need to extend their length and you can knot them together. The strength and potential behind this is if you just done 2 simple hitch knots, more than likely these would have slid off. Once you've got these 2 double knots like this, you have an incredibly strong rope that I can't pull apart anymore. So today we've covered a couple of rope styles. We covered the double hitch knot. We covered the double hitch with the break, which is also the double hitch with a quick release. We covered what a quick release knot is. We covered how you can use the quick release in a chain knot to strengthen that. We also taught you a adjustable knot, and then we taught you the double knot. So today we covered a couple of different knots that, as you can tell, may even build on each other, that can be really practical at home, camping, outdoor settings, whatever. These are all really helpful uses for knots that hopefully you can apply in your outdoor adventures or in your future life.